You want us to engage them, Call. The Vorath's mandibles clicked in palpable incredulity, its compound eyes locked onto the tactical display. Are you utterly unhinged or simply harboring a death wish? The Vorath commander's facial tentacles writhed in frustration. They're just humans, primitive mammals, barely a century past their space age. Your fee's already been tripled, Corell chirped, his voice layered with scorn. Quadruple it again, and I still wouldn't touch this contract. Corell jabbed a clawed appendage at the holographic projections. Look at them. Actually, look at them. The footage showcased what humans labeled their Special Operations Forces, executing drills on a desolate, arid world. The soldiers maneuvered with an unsettling blend of smooth grace and predatory focus, laden with enough weaponry to intimidate a rancor, let alone war beasts. I've studied their combat doctrines, Corell continued. Do you understand the meaning behind those markings, the ones on their armor? Skulls, human skulls. They're broadcasting mortality right on their person. What kind of species does that? A primitive one, striving to appear menacing, the commander sneered. Their psychological warfare is, at best, clumsy. Clumsy. Corell's antennae vibrated with violent energy. Let me inform you about clumsy. Those humans you so easily dismiss developed powered armor because they saw it in entertainment videos. They created plasma weapons because they thought they looked stylish in games. Their entire military-industrial complex is fueled by the core concept. Wouldn't that be totally awesome? The commander's tentacles stilled. Surely you exaggerate. I wish I were, Corell asserted. Do you know the names they give their elite units? Ghost Recon, Shadow Raiders. They title their gunships Black Death and Angel of Destruction. They name their warships after ancient champions and conquerors. Many species employ martial posturing. No, you're missing the point, Cal, Corell interrupted, mandibles snapping. They don't do this to scare opponents. They do it because they find it entertaining. Some human looked at a heavily armed assault transport and said, "You know what would elevate this?" Painting flames along the side and calling it Valkyrie's Fury. The tactical display switched to show human special forces executing a night raid. Their actions were precise, synchronized, and downright horrifying. They moved through shadows like living apparitions, every motion streamlined and lethal. Look at how they flow, Corell stressed. Most species master either stealth or direct combat. Humans, they swap between the two like flipping a switch. One moment they're phantoms, the next they're raining enough firepower to level a small city, all while cracking dreadful jokes over their comm channels. The commander's facial tentacles began to pale. The jokes can't be that consequential. Oh, really? Permit me to share intercepted communications from their latest engagement. Corell produced an audio file. Human voices crackled through the speakers. Hey, Jenkins, what's the difference between a Vorath battlecruiser and a firing range? I don't know, Sarge. About 30 seconds once Anderson gets that railgun hot. Human laughter melded with massive explosions. See? Corell's antennae drooped. They joke while fighting. Who does that? It's unnatural. The commander shifted uneasily. Perhaps we could negotiate with their leadership instead. Their leadership? Corell chittered, mimicking a laugh. The same leadership that assesses their most aggressive, danger-loving individuals and says, yes, these are the ones we give our most advanced weaponry. The same leadership that approved their Special Forces request for orbital drop capabilities by developing pods that let them surf through atmospheric re-entry. They do what? The commander asked. Oh yes, they call it riding the lightning, Corell cackled. Because, obviously, they turn everything into an action-packed video game. Their training exercises are practically their leisure activities. Their combat stimulants? Go juice. Their battlefield medical tech? Stim packs. It's like they're living in their own action film. The tactical display showed more footage, humans in powered armor performing incredible maneuvers, movements assisted by neural interfaces and synthetic muscle fibers. And don't get me started on their augmentation programs, Carell continued. Most species pursue either biological or technological improvement. Humans, they master both and make it seem cool. They have warriors who interface directly with weaponry, process combat data faster than our best AI, and run for days without fatigue. And what do they do with these abilities? Compete to see who can pull off the most spectacular stunts in combat. The commander's skin took on an unhealthy hue. Surely they have flaws. Oh, they do. They're reckless, prone to spontaneity, and constantly push their hardware's limits. But here's the key. They know these are weaknesses and have turned them into strengths. They drill for equipment failure, rehearse improvisation, and their combat philosophy includes specific directives on when to disregard doctrine. That's madness, the commander murmured. Exactly. That's why I won't engage them, Carell affirmed. The only thing more unnerving than their skills is their passion for using them. They don't just accept combat. They love it. They turn warfare into art, complete with culture, customs, and inside jokes. The commander's tentacles knotted tightly. Perhaps we should reconsider our expansion plans. Now you're seeing clearly, Carell responded. The most unsettling thing is that the special forces we've observed are their standard units. They have other, more elite divisions they keep hidden. Can you imagine what those are like? I'd rather not. A wise choice. I've heard whispers about their Black Ops squads, stories of operatives who can warp probability, navigate dimensions. Enough. Carell shuddered. The commander's tentacles were practically tangled. The contract is rescinded. We'll find easier targets elsewhere. A prudent choice, Carell chirped. The one thing more terrifying than human special forces is when they get creative. Did you know they once used orbital drop pods to deliver high-yield explosives disguised as supply crates? The enemy brought them into their own storage facilities. They called it Operation Special Delivery and laughed about it for weeks. As the commander hurried away, Carell turned back to the tactical display. The footage showed a human special forces unit practicing close-quarters combat, their moves a lethal ballet of precision and controlled violence. One soldier executed a perfect backflip while firing two weapons simultaneously. Completely deranged, Carell muttered, and they probably did that flip just because they thought it looked good. More intercepted transmissions played. Hey, anyone know where I left that antimatter grenade? Check your other tactical pocket, Dave. Oh yeah, there it is, next to my lucky rabbit's foot. Human laughter echoed through the chamber. Carell shut off the display with a shudder. Let others engage the humans if they chose. He preferred survivable engagements and sane opponents. Besides, he'd heard humans were testing something called space ninjas. He decidedly did not want to know the details. As he left the command center, he swore he heard distant human laughter echoing down the passageways. Likely his imagination, but he quickened his pace nonetheless. Later, when asked why he'd refused such a lucrative contract, Carell gave a simple answer. Have you ever watched humans fight? They see battle as a contest to be the most spectacularly lethal while having the most fun. They don't just engage, they choreograph it. His fellow mercenaries laughed until he showed them the footage. Afterward, they did the sensible thing, amended their contracts to explicitly exclude operations against human special forces. Some called them cowards. Carell called them survivors. In the end, the only thing you needed to know about human special forces was this. They were combatants who looked at the impossible, smirked, and said, "Hold my drink." And anyone knowledgeable about humans knew that phrase rarely ended well for their adversaries. Remember that time we passed on the Vorath contract? Zixvac inquired, mandibles twitching with thinly veiled amusement. Corell's antennae flattened against his carapace. Don't remind me. Best choice I ever made, even if no one believed me at the time. The mercenary lounge on Station 7, Echo was unusually packed, filled with diverse species sharing war stories and contract details. Most took care to avoid discussing recent events in the Outer Rim. Speaking of humans, a Taurite mercenary commander called from across the room, their crystalline form catching the ambient light. Has anyone seen the footage from the Dorax incident? A collective shudder rippled through the warriors, even the normally stoic Quantum Hive representatives dimming their bioluminescence. You mean when those human operatives chose to... Corell paused, mandibles clicking rapidly, searching for words. Improvise a strategic solution using locally sourced materials. The Taurite's crystalline structure vibrated with restrained amusement. Observe all. Those words sent a shiver through even the hardiest warriors, a psychological weapon of sorts, as nothing good followed them. Corell activated a holographic display, showing the infamous video. The mercenaries, despite themselves, leaned in, unable to look away. The footage depicted a team of human special forces operators, pinned down in a Doraxian factory. The Dorax, silicon-based, assumed their industrial thermal units would deter the humans. An error. The humans' knack for invention was unforeseen. Watch this part, Corell chirped, gesturing toward a human operator, a grin visible beneath their helmet. Here's where their insanity escalates from typical to, well, human. The operator turned to their team. All right, lads, their comms crackled. Know what those units are filled with? Not just industrial coolant, tactical lube all the way. What followed was what humans called adaptive problem-solving. Others saw chaos unfold. The operators rigged the factory's thermal processing network into a delivery system for combat stimulants and explosive compounds, weaponizing the cooling system. A Quantum Hive drone blinked in bewilderment. They turned temperature regulation into a delivery mechanism for military-grade stimulants and explosives, all while joking. They referenced a game, Zixavac added, something about plumbing simulators and speed running. The footage showed Doraxian forces facing their facility's destruction, courtesy of the humans, who, smiling, dubbed it a party delivery system for the whole factory. Order up. One extra spicy combat cocktail coming right up. Don't forget to tip your server. Explosions mixed with peals of human laughter. That's not even the worst part, Zixavac interjected. Tell them about the maintenance drones, Corell. Corell's antennae drooped. The factory's maintenance drones were repurposed to play entrance music whenever they assaulted an area, for added effect. The video shifted, showing drones bursting through walls, blaring what human databases called classic rock. Really, Jenkins? Highway to Hell again? An operator asked during a firefight. It's a classic for a reason, Sarge, came the reply. This is why I don't take these contracts, Corell stated. Who looks at a hostile facility's infrastructure and thinks, this place needs a soundtrack and an improvised stimulant delivery system? To be fair, the Taurite commander said, crystalline structure glinting, it was highly effective. That's the issue. Everything they do is effective, no matter the lunacy. They turned maintenance bots into what they called party bots and sent them to deliver combat enhancers. This came with music debates. The footage continued, showing the mission's final moments, human operators surfing repurposed drones through stimulant-laced vapor, firing weapons while shouting quotes. Don't try this at home unless you've completed the approved courses. More laughter and explosions followed. They made training videos after, Zixavac added in hushed tones, calling it Creative Resource Utilization 101. turning the enemy's headquarters into a party zone, a Mawari warrior said, stunned. They turned it into teaching sessions. Corell nodded. With peer reviews and requests for music selection improvements across operational scenarios. I heard they got commendations, the Taurite added. 3, to be precise. Corell corrected. 1 for mission completion, 1 for creative resource utilization, and the third, I quote, maintaining peak morale via a well-curated musical arrangement. The room fell silent, broken only by contract. Amendments to avoid human-involved projects. Even the Quantum Hive, usually eager for data, altered their engagement protocols. The truly terrifying part, Corell mused, is that was one of their tamer operations. Imagine their classified missions. I'd prefer not to, several voices said in unison. A wise choice, Corell affirmed. I heard about their new training programs, something called parkour. The room emptied quickly. Later, the Mercenary Guild added a new warning to its advisory. If you hear human special forces laughing during combat, withdraw immediately. If they say, observe this, withdraw faster. If they discuss music selections, surrender. It's easier. The advisory passed unanimously because every mercenary knew human special forces were deadliest when having fun, and they always had fun. Inside a human special forces transport, far from anywhere, a sergeant reviewed the Dorax incident footage with his team. All right, team. Lessons learned. Always scout facilities for resource reuse. Music is critical. Industrial coolant systems work great as improvised delivery methods. Good points, Sergeant, an operator said, but you've missed the most crucial lesson. What's that, Sarge? Next time we get better speakers. Those drones didn't do AC/DC justice. Laughter echoed across the transport, causing nearby alien vessels to alter course. Just another day in human special forces. Corell's mandibles twitched, likely hiding suppressed laughter. Has anyone heard of the Nexus 9 situation? The mercenary lounge on Station 7, Echo, usually lively, fell silent, a hush reserved for bankruptcy hearings or memorial services. You mean that time? Zixvac's antennae drooped. A shudder rippled through the mercenaries. Even the station's AI dimmed its brightness. That's the one, Corell confirmed, sharing footage no one wanted to see but couldn't resist. The humans call it Operation Dropping Beats and Taking Streets. The holographic screen blinked on, showing what seemed a standard pacification operation until human special forces arrived. For context, Corell began, the Nexus 9 mining colony was held by a militant sect of quantum-scale engineers, supposedly immune to psychological warfare. Theoretical, an RX commander muttered from their environmental tank. Exactly, Corell chipped in. No one's models accounted for humans turning psychological warfare into this. The footage showed human operators storming the colony's streets, their powered armor's external speakers blasting workout music, each team with its own theme song. Team 3, command here. Your song choice is causing seismic tremors. Command, we can't hear you over how great we sound. A bass drop synced with an explosion, their assault patterns timed to the beat. They called it tactical rhythm alignment, Zixvac clarified for newer mercenaries. That's not the half of it, Corell added. Watch the main building. The screen showed humans controlling the administrative hub. Jenkins, why is K-pop on our tactical roster? Cultural triumph, Sarge. They can't fight if they're grappling with the choreography. The footage revealed quantum engineers' defenses crumbling, unable to process human special forces, clearing rooms in sync with elaborate dance music. Here's where it gets wild, Corell elaborated, mandibles clicking rapidly. Quantum engineers, operating on probability matrices, couldn't handle the apparent randomness of human tactics mixed with choreographed patterns. Their cognitive frameworks crashed. Some tried calculating the tactical value of backflips. That was their downfall, Zixvac added grimly. The footage showed the aftermath. Engineers surrendering en masse or joining what they called the rhythm of tactical enlightenment, some mimicking human combat dance moves. Within 3 cycles, Carell explained, the colony adopted groove-based combat doctrine, birthing a religion centered on tactical superiority through synchronized movement and curated music. The humans encouraged it. A high-mind representative buzzed in disbelief. Encouraged it. They offered advanced courses, called it cultural victory, alternative approaches to combat resolution. They released a manual, bass drops and hotspots, a guide to rhythm-enhanced urban warfare. The footage shifted, showing human instructors teaching former quantum engineers tactical dancing. The engineers developed mathematical formulas to optimize movements for style points. Remember, folks, an instructor chimed, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. But what's the tactical merit of a spin move? A mercenary asked. Looking amazing is the merit, Zixvac noted. The alarming part? It was effective. The colony's productivity rose 300% after adopting groove-based optimization protocols. Humans weaponized dance music. Carell chattered in disbelief. They turned psychological warfare into a party, and it worked better than conventional methods. The engineers now require security personnel to pass Sick Moves certification before deployment. The mercenaries watched footage of the colony's current state. Quantum engineers running probability calculations through dance routines, security, teams training with beats-per-minute optimization, ex-insurgents debating playlist selections for patrols. They host competitions, Zixvac added, called So You Think You Can Fight. Human judges score combat effectiveness and style points. The worst part, Carell's antennae dipped, is other colonies are adopting it. There's talk of enshrining it as official doctrine. The humans call it the Great Groove Revolution. The footage showed a graduation ceremony for the first rhythm combat specialists, culminating in a tactical dance-off. The engineers calculated that backflips increased combat effectiveness by 43.7%. This is why I avoid human contracts, Carell concluded. Who, facing a hostile quantum engineer collective, thinks this needs a dance battle? Yet it worked. Everything they do works, no matter how insane, a mercenary interjected. They turned combat into performance art, and now there's a religion around superior dance moves. The lounge fell silent, broken only by faint bass from the station's human quarter. Some mercenaries adjusted their loadouts, adding human swagger enhancement modules. I heard, Zixvac whispered, they're developing tactical rap battles for diplomacy. The mass exodus from the lounge set a speed record. Later, the Mercenary Guild updated its advisory. If human special forces play music during combat, do not calculate the tactical advantage of their movements. There isn't one. They think it looks cool, and somehow that makes it work. The advisory passed before Carell finished writing. Every mercenary knew the only thing worse than human special forces having fun was them starting a trend. And they always started trends. Meanwhile, in a classified human special forces training facility, Sir, the quantum engineers want advanced courses in probability-enhanced breakdancing. Approved, but their spin moves need more pizzazz. Yes, sir. Should I add tactical choreography to the curriculum? Mandatory. Can't have our operators lagging in the dance combat arms race we accidentally started. Several species are requesting rhythm-based warfare training. Well, you know what they say, Lieutenant. What's that, sir? The groove must flow. Laughter. echoed through the facility, causing nearby quantum probability matrices to rewrite themselves, incorporating dance moves. Just another day in human special forces. The Dravik commander's crystalline form vibrated with barely suppressed emotion. This is the last time I underestimate human social protocols. The mercenary lounge on Station 7 Echo had become a de facto support group for those who'd tangled with human special forces. Today's session was packed, given recent events in the Epsilon sector. Let me guess, Carell chittered, accessing his growing database of human tactical absurdities. You met their new diplomatic integration specialists? The Dravik's crystals flickered, hinting at trauma. We call them the T-Team. A wave of understanding passed through the mercenaries. Even the station's cleaning drones paused in sympathy. Oh no, Zixvak's antennae curled. You got the full British Special Service treatment, didn't you? The Dravik's crystals chimed affirmation. We thought we had them cornered. Our forces surrounded their position in the diplomatic quarter. We demanded surrender and... A pause. They invited us for tea. Classic BSS move. Carell nodded sagely, summoning footage. Show us what happened. The hollow screen flickered, revealing a standard urban containment operation, until the humans deployed tactical hospitality. I say, chaps, these fellows seem tense. Jenkins, break out the Earl Grey combat blend, and use the proper china. We aren't savages. The footage showed human operators in full combat gear setting up a proper service in an active combat zone, complete with doilies. We assumed it was deception, the Dravik continued, a new psychological warfare tactic. Then they debated the correct way to hold a teacup in powered armor. Pinky out, everyone. It's in the manual, sir. Which manual? Advanced Combat Etiquette, Chapter 3. Tea Time Tactics. The footage showed perplexed Dravik forces watching humans discuss tea blends while maintaining combat readiness. But that wasn't the worst, the Dravik's crystals chimed distressingly. They had scones. Combat-grade scones? Zixvak asked sympathetically. With tactical clotted cream, the Dravik confirmed. They insisted on a specific application technique with a briefing called Operation Jam First. Carell's mandibles clicked as understanding dawned. You got the full Cornwall versus Devon tactical doctrine debate. The footage showed humans arguing scone preparation while disarming explosives and holding positions. The Devonshire method offers superior tactical coverage, sir. That's near insubordination, Jenkins. Everyone knows Jam First is optimal. Shall we consult the Queen's Royal Combat Catering Corps manual? They have a manual for this, a Quantum Hive representative buzzed in disbelief. They have manuals for everything, Carell elaborated. This one's Tactical Tea Service, a guide to combat catering with sections on emergency doily deployment and pinky positioning under fire. The footage continued, showing Dravik forces drawn into aggressive hospitality. Some crystal warriors awkwardly held teacups with energy manipulators, insisting on proper introductions. They had dossiers on everyone's tea preferences, Zixvak noted. Their intelligence division has a department for tactical social engineering. The footage depicted humans performing synchronized tea service with military precision, with protocols for every species etiquette. Jenkins, those crystals look lackluster. Offer the special blend. The classified one, sir. Indeed, and mind the serving temperature for crystalline life forms. We're not savages. Within 3 hours, the Dravik recalled, they turned our containment into an afternoon tactical tea session, complete with debates on scone prep. Did you drink the tea? Carell asked cautiously. Of course, the Dravik replied. They had blends optimized for crystalline biology. Do you know how rare that is? They called it their Special Forces selection, a secret of their Combat Culinary Corps. The footage showed the outcome: Dravik and human forces discussing T protocols while maintaining combat readiness. Some crystal warriors adapted energy fields to handle teacups. By day's end, the Dravik sighed. We'd signed 3 trade agreements, started a cultural exchange, and agreed to monthly tea ceremonies. They called it Operation Steep, Zixvac added, to foster relations through superior tea service. The Scone. Dispute? Corell asked. Ongoing. They formed a joint human-Dravik committee to study topping sequences, the Strategic Scone Initiative. The mercenaries watched footage of the Epsilon sector's current state, regular human-Dravik tea ceremonies with tactical doily deployment, and scone debates. They've launched certification courses, the Dravik added, called Advanced Combat Hospitality. Humans are training our forces in tactical politeness. This is why I avoid human contracts, Corell declared. Who, in a military standoff, thinks we need properly served tea and a scone debate? But it worked, a mercenary pointed out. That's the problem. They turned combat into a social event, and now we're doing joint exercises in tactical tea service. The lounge fell silent, broken by the faint chime of crockery from the human quarter. Some mercenaries added human emergency hospitality kits to their loadouts. Later, the Mercenary Guild updated its advisory. If human special forces offer tea, accept it. Their hospitality is as precise as their combat, and refusal risks aggressive tea deployment. The advisory passed before the tea cooled, because every mercenary knew the only thing worse than human special forces in combat was them being polite, and they were always polite. Meanwhile, in a classified human special forces training facility, Sir, the Dravik want advanced courses in tactical etiquette. Approved, but their doily deployment needs work. Yes, sir. Should I add Combat Catering 101 to the curriculum? Mandatory. Can't have operatives serving tea without tactical consideration. Several species want training in hospitality warfare. Well, you know what they say, Lieutenant. What's that, sir? The tea must flow. Laughter reverberated through the facility, causing nearby tea sets to rattle in sympathy. Just another day in human special forces. Key corrections made, spelling errors, corrected Corell consistently, from KCL, KX, KXL, Zixvac, from Zixvac, Zix, Doraxian, from Dorax, Daxian, Dravik, from Drax, fixed Car Exile to Corell, Kurarzal to Corell, Korzal to Corell, and others like Hins to Mercenaries. Punctuation. Added missing commas, periods, and quotation marks, e.g., observe all corrected with quotes. Fixed inconsistent dashes and dialogue formatting. Grammar. Corrected awkward phrasing, e.g., the words they actually uttered being too vibrated with restrained amusement as they spoke. Fixed subject-verb agreement and pronoun consistency, e.g., KCL brought up to Corell activated. Consistency, standardized names, Corell, Zixvac, Station 7, Echo, Quantum Hive. Ensured consistent species, Vorath, Taurite, Dravik, and terms, special forces, tactical rhythm alignment. Clarity, rephrased unclear sentences, e.g., here is the rewritten text, here's the diplomatic take, removed as redundant. Clarified context, e.g., Tellarite to Taurite for consistency. Stylistic fixes, removed repetitive adverbs and corrected dialogue flow for humor and pacing. Fixed, misplaced sections, e.g., the present situation, integrated into narrative flow. The volume remains unchanged, with corrections enhancing readability, coherence, and humor, while preserving the original tone, structure, and intent. Let me know if you need further refinements or specific adjustments.